Hello and welcome to Kimo Designs. Today I'm going to take you through your graphic design journey. If you've searched for a lot of videos online and you are confused with the big terms they've been using and other stuff, trust me, as a beginner, I'm going to take you through, guide you with simple terms and easy to understand and interpret. Okay, so let's get right into it. If you've installed your Photoshop and you've opened it and you are at this interface, then we are all good to go. Okay, so we have the new file here and the open section here. The new file is to let you create the new document for your flyer. Let me use it like that. And we have the open section. So for instance, within our flyer and we have an image in our file gallery, we can use the open to access that particular image. And also when we are done with the flyer and we save the flyer, we can use the open to access that Photoshop file again and continue to work on it. I think that is really simple. So we are going to create a new document. You double click on the new file here and you have your new document dialog nicely open. You can see the recent saved preset, weight, resolution, a lot. Please don't be confused, okay? Take it easy. So with the recent, it simply shows all document sizes and settings you have used most recently. Okay, so if you have used maybe 10 by 12 in your previous artwork or in your previous flyer, it will appear in your recent files. That is really simple. And we have the saved category or the section or the tab, and this simply means that your custom presets that you have saved for later will be here. So if you mostly work with maybe 10 by 10 inches all the time, you can save that 10 by 10 inches and it will appear in here. For now, I have no size saved, okay, so it hasn't been displayed. And we have the photo. That's the common photo sizes, the 3 by 2 inches, 2 by 3 in the portrait form, and other stuff. We have print. The print is really important. We have the A4, the B5, A3, A5, and the funny part is when I was starting designing, a client told me the size should be A4. I went to Google and I searched the dimension for A4 and I came to input it in the width and the height section. It was really funny when I found out we have the print preview here that I can even choose the A4 here simply, and the B5, A3, A5, A6, B4 and other stuff. It's really funny, but as a designer or as a beginner, please, you need to learn from here, okay? And we have the art and illustrations. The art and illustrations sizes tailored for illustrators. We have the comic pages and digital paintings, concept art canvases, and other stuff. We have the web. So the web is for the UI elements set to 72 ppi and so on. We have the mobile view, that is the screen sizes for phones and tablets. Okay, so we have the iPhone, we have the Android, iPad, and they are optimized for digital displays. So this is the version for, we even have the Apple Watch and so on. You can check through, we are good to go. We have the film and video dimensions, that's the video frame sizes, the HD, the Instagram Reels, YouTube, and etc. with appropriate pixel aspect ratios and frame rates. Okay, so without wasting much time, you need to focus mostly on the print so that you also don't go online and be searching for dimensions and so on. So with the preset details, this is really important. This section is really important as a beginner. With the first one, that's the name of your project. That is the name of your flyer. Okay, so if you are creating any design, this will be the name. And please take note, you need to give your flyers or your project names. Okay, as a beginner, you need to give your project name. So for instance, if you are working on birthday flyer, you just birthday flyer, sorry, nicely like this. Okay, birthday flyer. And with the width and height, it determines the size of your design canvas. Okay, so maybe you can work on maybe 10 inches by 10 inches. Okay, this is the respective units. We have the pixels, we have centimeters, millimeters, point and picas and other stuff. Okay, and with the orientation, the orientation controls the direction of your canvas or the direction of your design, the size. Okay, and the portrait, you can see from the orientation preview, the portrait is a tall view and the landscape is the wide view. So this is it. If the width is like 15 inches, meaning the width has more size than the height, default it would change to the landscape view. So when we just click here, you see it will automatically switch to the landscape view, the same as compared to the height. When the height is changed to maybe 20 and we click here to move to the portrait view. So this helps us to know the orientation of our width and height. Okay, so if you even click on the wide screen, it will just change automatically, and the portrait will just change automatically. And we have the artboards. The artboards lets you create multiple designs area within your Photoshop file. Okay, so the artboard simply means that, for instance, we are creating a church flyer, and maybe the church flyer is about a countdown flyer, maybe 8 days more, 7 days more, you see, 6 days more, 5 days more, a countdown flyer. In this context, we are going to use the artboards, you see, because it's just the number that's going to be changed all the time. You can't create new files every day and be doing the same design and change the numbers. No, you don't need to do that. You are going to use the artboards and it will be simple for you. Along the tutorial, I will show you a design I did that I used the artboards and it was really useful. Okay, so let's move to the resolution. The resolution refers to how much detail an image contains. Okay, they are measured in ppi, that's the pixels per inch. You see, pixels per inch, that's the resolution. And the resolution, it tells Photoshop how tightly the pixels are packed together in every inch of your design. If you are a beginner, you may ask, what is pixels? And it's kind of confusing with the resolution and other stuff. It happened to me, so I'll take it easy for you guys. Okay, I'll demonstrate it for you to understand it easily. But for now, I want you to understand the resolution to be the detail of an image. Okay, and the pixels an image contains, and I'll show you what a pixel means, and you take a reflection from there. And we have the color mode. The color mode simply sets how colors are displayed and printed with the color mode. So we have the RGB by default, as it has been seen here. The RGB is red, green, and I guess you've predicted blue. Yes, that is RGB color. You may ask, what is RGB color? This is it. When we are designing a flyer and the client tells you that, oh, please, I'm going to post the design online. Okay, I'm going to post it on my WhatsApp status, my Facebook story, and other stuff. You are going to use the RGB color because they are for digital use. I'm using simple terms, okay? They are for digital use or online purposes. So that is for RGB. And you may also ask, then what if the person or the client is going to print it? Then you are going to use the next tab, that's the CMYK. And the colors are cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Why not B? K is black in this printing format. So if the client is going to print it, you are going to use the CMYK. If the client is going to use it for online, you are going to use the RGB. I guess that's really simple. And let me take you through these three. But as a beginner, please take note of these two, okay? You need to understand this. You must understand this, okay? And with a bitmap, it turns your image into only two colors, that's black and white. So you may be confused that each pixel is either fully black or fully white. Example is when you go to offices, you could see their stamps and other stuff. You see, the stamp has two colors, maybe black and white. So you can use the bitmap for the stamp design, and maybe I think the QR codes. Yes, the QR codes also have white and black only, so you can use the bitmap for it. And we have the grayscale. The grayscale mode uses shades of gray. As a beginner, you may ask, what is shades of gray? Okay, shades of a color means that we have one particular color called blue, you see, but in this same blue, we have the sea blue, we have the light blue, we have the deep blue, as we mostly say. That is the categories of the shades, okay? So the shades of the same color means different types of colors, the lighter part of the color and then maybe the dark side. In design, we call it the shade size of the color. We have the tone side of the color and other stuff, but it's the same color. So gray in design simply means the color ash that we used to say, ash color, but in design we call it gray, okay? So the gray scale goes for the shades of gray. You may ask, when should I use these ones? They are for maybe white photography and maybe moody or elegant flyers or minimalistic print designs. But you should stick to RGB. You see, as a beginner, we are focusing on this, but I want to explain it for you. Some tutorials might skip, but I will explain it for you to understand, okay? And we have the lab color. The lab color is based on how humans see color rather than how devices display or print it. Okay, it separates the lightens from the color axis. So this is simply for professional retouchers and color scientists. Okay, so as a beginner, you don't need to go deep into this. I'm just explaining it for you to understand. So maybe if you are restoring an old photo or you need a precise control over how the light or color behave independently, you can use the lab color. Therefore, as I said, professional retouchers and color scientists. As a beginner, let's stick to this, okay? Digital and printing. Digital and printing. Red, green, blue, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Okay, I guess I'm explaining it well for you. And we have the bit depth. Okay, that's the color precision. So the 8 bits, you leave it to 8 bits. Okay, but the 8 bit standard for maybe I think 16.7 million colors or so, but let's leave it to this. And the 1632, they are for final gradients and professional retouching. So as beginners, we are working for our flyers, let's stick to the 8 bits, okay? And we have the background content and it's set to white. It means that Immediately we hit create right now. The dimension of width 15 and height 20 should be filled with white color as a starting point. That is really simple. You are you are in an examination hall and they bring you a white paper. That's the paper you are going to use to answer the questions. You see, it's really simple. That's the same thing in designing. They will serve you with the white paper, and that's where you are going to do all your sketches, your creations, and other stuff. It's really nice. So that's simple. That's the meaning of the background content. And we have the advanced options. Maybe yours might not show. You can click here and you will see it from here. We have the advanced options with the color profile. And the color profile, should I say, it's like a translator that tells Photoshop how to interpret and show colors. The color profile. So it helps your design look the same on different devices like monitor, a phone, or a printer. Okay, so the color profile, for instance, if you are designing a flyer with a deep blue background on your laptop, without a color profile, it may look perfect blue on your laptop, but when your client views it on their phone or prints it, it turns out maybe to be purple or dull. So the color profile is really useful that we are going to talk about it. Okay, we have a lot of color profiles here, but as a beginner, the most common color profiles you should know first is the sRGB. Okay, it is best for web, social media, and screens, and standard on most devices like the phones, laptops, and monitors. Okay, so it's a safe choice if your work is digital only. Okay, so the sRGB, as a beginner, you need to know this. So we will choose the sRGB, and we have other color profiles like the Adobe RGB 1998, which is best for printing. It has a wider color range than the sRGB, especially in greens. Okay, so use this when you are designing for professional print quality, the Adobe RGB. So we are going to stick to the sRGB. So you need to know this too. Okay, sRGB nicely, and we have this. Let me see, the Pro Photo RGB. It's used by photographers and color editors. Okay, so you can only use it if you know advanced color workflows. It's not a beginner friendly thing, so you can stick to the sRGB. Okay, and we have the image P3, and this is more vibrant for it's more vibrant than the sRGB, so they are used in iPhones, iPads, Macs, and other stuff. Okay, they are good for modern screens and apps, but please let's stick to the sRGB for now. So I've explained the sRGB, Pro Photo, Image P3, the Adobe. I guess that's what I know for this in this section. Let me see. Color match. The color match is a legacy profile for matching colors between Mac monitors and printers. They are not used nowadays. And we have the, let me guess if we have the HD TV. So they are used in broadcast video and TV. Okay, you can choose only if you are working with HD video content. All right, and let me check through. That's what I know. I want to teach you the ones I know. I think the PAL, SICAM, the analog TV color spaces. This analog TV color spaces. I think Europe, Asia, Africa, and so on. I think that's all for now. SMP. Okay, I think they are outdated, you see, mostly outdated. But I think it's a color space for CRT broadcast monitors. I'm quite sure, but you can search for it if you want to. So, and the don't color manage it's like Photoshop won't apply any profile, okay? Not recommended unless you fully understand color workflows. But let's stick to the sRGB. I think I have okay, yeah, that's cool. That's what I know. The ones I don't know, I won't say anything about it. Okay, so the sRGB is really cool for us. You can use it. And we have the pixel aspect ratio. The pixel aspect ratio defines the shape of each pixel. We are saying pixel, 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 pixel. And what is pixel? As a beginner, please exercise patience, okay? I'm going to take you through. Okay, so the pixel aspect ratio defines the shape of each pixel in your document. So let's create a new file and explain or explore some of the resolution, the artwork, the artboards, and maybe the pixel aspect ratio for you. Okay, so you are going to hit on the create, and we are served with white dimension, white artboard, as we saw in control and I'm coming. Yes, as we saw in the background content, you see it's white. So that's the reason why it came as white. And you can see from here we have the birthday flyer, the name for it, and the RGB. And when you come down here, you can see the width 50 inches by 20 inches, and they are converted into pixels because the resolution 300. The whole file here works in pixels. So what is pixel? What is pixel? Let me demonstrate it to you guys. I think I have images here, something to demonstrate it nicely for you guys. So this is a pixel. Each box, for instance, is considered as a pixel. Okay, so this is an image of myself. It has a lot of pixels because it's a studio image. When you zoom in, let's get to my forehead here, you could see a lot of pixels. So each box here is called pixel. I'm sure I'm explaining it well for you guys. Each box here is termed as pixel. So all these pixels come together to form the image. You see? You see? So this is a pixel, and you come to the hair, you could see it's changed to black, you see, and some white shades of grays inside in here and other stuff. So that's the simple way to explain pixels to you guys. Okay, so that's pixels. And with a bitmap, I think, let me go to control N. When we got here, where is it? Yes, bitmap. I said something like each pixel is treated to be fully black and white. So when the stamp, like the stamp that I was saying, the QR code and other stuff, each pixel will be treated as black and white. There wouldn't be any colors like what is seen in the image. Okay, so that's really simple. And we have the pixel aspect ratio. We created a file from this setup, and the pixel is in square. Look, when we zoom in, we could see that it's a perfect square. Okay, so when we create a new file like Control N, and we change the pixel aspect ratio to maybe widescreen, okay, and we create a new file like this. We've created a new file. We've not given it a name, and we bring the image. Sorry, we bring the image in here. You'll see that the pixels that comes together to form the image are in what? Rectangles or wide screens, as we use for the pixel aspect ratio. So the pixel aspect ratio defines the shape of each pixel in your document. So I guess you've understood the pixel aspect ratio. Yes. So this pixel aspect ratio was in square, control N. The one we created for the birthday flyer was in square, and the one we did new one that we deleted it was in what? Widescreen. So I guess you've understood pixel aspect ratio. And now coming back to the artboards, as I was saying, so I have a project here that I want to demonstrate it to you guys. I have a project here to demonstrate the artboard. Okay, the artboard to you guys. And as we were saying, the artboard, yes, I think you can see from here nicely. The artboards let you create multiple designs, you see, in a single Photoshop file. So this is the birthday flyer file that we created, and this is the another flyer that we created, but it has multiple design areas. Okay, multiple design areas. Let me take out the ruler, and you can see from here, you see, it's a policy flyer and the policies are many. So with this one, I can't just create one policy, save the file, create another file here, create another in that order like this, control N, create another file. Let me change it to the square pixel, create another file here for the second policy, create another file, control N, for the third policy in that order. No. So the artboard becomes useful if you are working with similar projects, but it has some small changes and other stuff in it. Okay, so you can use the artboards for multiple design areas within one Photoshop file. So there are separate pages where you can work on different versions or sections of a project in one place. So you have the policy 1, policy 2, policy 3, in that order, policy 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. You see, so that is the meaning of artboards. So today's tutorials, I guess I've taken you through all this, and I'm sure you are super excited about the tutorial. So if you find it useful, you can subscribe, and we learn more, and we learn and learn and learn. Okay, so that is that for the Photoshop new document.